and welcome to another edition of Thomas Tippers for this week, it being the 5th week of our little blog and page that we've got going on. We've got a couple of apologies today. David's unfortunately not with me today. He's had a couple of issues come up, but we're going to run a bit of a solo show this week, so just bear with me, guys, and we'll see how we go from a tough day of racing, which was last week. We tipped 5 winners, 3 placings last week. I think out of our 20 selections, we actually had 4 or 5 scratchings, which is a bit unlucky. Our best bets didn't do much good. Mine unfortunately got scratched early in the day. Dad's was with Persan, who run 4th for the day. We are going to run a Melbourne Cup show on Monday. It will be up probably late Monday night for you guys that are looking for a bit of value in the Melbourne Cup itself on the Tuesday. Like I said, this week we're going to go to Derby Day at Flemington. And we're going to start off with race 1. It's a Carbine Club Stakes. David has given me his tips for the week. So we're just going to run through them now. So race 1, we've both gone with a horse called Tajana, or Tijuana, I think they pronounce it. I think I beat 0.8 lengths last start in the Caulfield Guineas, behind Golden Mile and Elliptical. Both have been, Golden Mile's had a couple of wins since, and Elliptical's run a very, very good race, only just getting beat there last week. I think he's currently at $4.20, I think, on Sportsbet as we look now. Like we said, it's tough race the first, but we both stuck solid with Tijuana, so we'll see how we go there. Race 2. Dad's gone for a bit of something that everyone seems to find, and the horse called Realm of Flowers, number 7. Good third behind No Compromise last start. Everyone would have noticed that. It's just one of them things that everyone noticed. I know they found it now, open $6 into $4 at the moment as we speak. My selection actually got scratched this week in Macram. Just prior to the show starting, we decided to do our tips and stuff as we do, and Macram unfortunately got scratched. So I haven't got a selection for this race. I haven't really had enough time to get into the race itself. But just for future, Dad has gone race 2, number 7, which is Realm of Flowers. Race 3, we're in the 1200 metre sprint down the track. David's selection here is an absolute track specialist in Serious Suspect, number 4. Don't know why, but it just seems to love Flemington a lot. Just as we look here now, it's had 22 starts at the track for 5 wins and 7 placings, which is going very good. He's getting old now. It's an 8-year-old gelding. But like we said, you just can't take it out because it is actually a really, really good horse at Flemington, especially down the straight. And I know Dad would want me to say this. Actually, Craig Williams is on board. It's one of his favourite jockeys in Melbourne. He just says that it's just a really good horse down the track, like I've mentioned previously. My tip here is I've tipped him a couple of weeks ago in a horse called Gravina. I declared him my best bet of the day. He won that day at $5. He won fairly comfortable, in my opinion. I thought he was a bit unlucky. He sort of got shuffled out of it, but then found a hole and really hit the line well. Like we said, back to going to Flemington. I think it's its first go at Flemington. Yeah, it is. I just think that the track's going to play a really big part in his run. Just the way that it does sort of sit off the pace a bit. Gets a few sections back, but it should be hitting the line well again, especially over 1200. I know it's drawn in the middle of the pack in barrier 8, but if it can find the outside fence, I think it's a big chance again. It's probably one of my better bets for the day. William Buick on board, and I mean, how good are the Blue Army going at the moment? They're just on fire at the moment. James Cummings. So yeah, race 3, number 6, Gravina for me, and race 3, number 4, Serious Suspect for David. like we said, it's probably a no bet race for us. I actually do like Gravina. I'll probably have a bet in that race. Speaking to Dad this afternoon, he's not actually going to have a bet in that race, so it's a no bet race for him. Race 4 is the Wakeful Stakes over 2,000 metres. It's a real tough one, this one. It's I know we spoke previously about throwing darts at dartboards and that sort of thing. It's one of them races. I think it's a bit hard. David's actually gone the top weight. I know he mentioned before it's actually it's in the famous Tate colours. He's mentioned that they do put a lot of money into racing. They're actually from the Riverina, where we're from. Born and bred down there in Tumut. Got a lot of local connections with Gundagai and Riverina areas, so we'd love to see the horse win, just because they're a really nice family. They put a lot into racing. So yeah, Dad's gone race 4, number 1 in Jenny Jerome. Just simple fact, I think it's not we said it's a very hard race. But he's just gone a bit of local connections there. I've sort of gone the same thing. I've got a horse called So Dazzling. Like we said, keep mentioning it's a tough race. Just go on something for me that's just won at the track before over the distance as well. Its last win 2 starts ago actually was at Flemington over this trip. It's just one of them things. I think it did have the quickest sectionals of the day. That day it did win in Newcastle. Gets in good with the weights again. D. Oliver on board. It's a lightly raced filly, but one of them things. It's just a very hard race to try and get some form out of in a tough 2,000 metres Wakeful Stakes. Race 5, we've gone. It is the Lynn Lithgow Stakes. Geez, what a race this is going to be. There's a lot of chances in this. You've got Catalyst, Giraffe, Old Flame, Wild Planet, just to mention a few. Pride of Jenny. We've actually done the form on a soft track, but as we're recording now, it is actually downgraded to a heavy 8. But we're sort of sticking with it. Hopefully they get a fine night tonight, a fine morning, and it should see it upgrade to a soft 6 or 7. Hopefully we get that, because like we said, all our selections around these are around a soft track. Dad's actually gone a horse here in Catalyst that had absolutely done nothing last start, and I thought it went a bit lame, but like he's mentioned, he said Mike Moroney wouldn't be taking this horse to Flemington if it wasn't okay. If it did have a serious injury, it would be out. But he's going to give it a forgive from last start. He's going to try and, he said it's a good healthy odds here. It's $21, which is a big price. Like we said, it does love the soft. It's got 9 starts in the soft for 5 wins and a second. Yeah, I don't know where he got that from, but anyway, we'll ride with him. His selection's as good as mine. So I've actually gone a horse that I've tipped previously again. I'm just trying to stick a bit of form here, and I've tipped number 8, Old Flame, on top. I just think it was just a forgive run last start. Got shuffled right out of the track. Never really in it. I think it finished 7th. Yeah, I'm just trying to give it a forgive here. I mean, it won really well 2 starts back, and a really close second the start before that. I just think with its race pattern and the way it does get around the track, you know, sitting a couple of pairs back off the speed, I just think it's a good thing tomorrow in the Linlithgow Stakes. Race 6. This is going to be an absolute cracker. Coolmore Stud Stakes here. I've actually tipped the top weight on favourite in Jacquino. I know it's drawn barrier 16. It is going to be tough, but I mean, it won the Golden Slipper. One of the better runs for me of the Everest that day. Was out last, doing absolutely nothing, and powered home for 5th. I think it only got beat 1.6 lengths, which is very good in that high quality race. should be incredibly hard to beat, I think, in this race. I know it does get up a bit in weight. I think it only carried 52 or 53 in the Everest. Gets up to 57. I just can't see anything beating at the moment. Like it is a back marker, which should suit Flemington a fair bit. Usually Flemington is one of the fairer tracks around the country with it's no real bias. Like we spoke previously about Moonee Valley and stuff, there's a lot of bias in it. Moonee Valley is usually a leader's track. If you can get up somewhere near the front, you nearly hang on most times. Where Flemington's completely different, in the Melbourne Cup itself, there's a lot of back markers that do win. There has been the occasional front runner that has won. So I've just gone a back marker. Just hopefully we get a fair ground on the day, being tomorrow's Saturday. But I mean, it's a really, really good race. For Dad's tip, we've just gone, he's gone the horse called Buenos Nachos. It's only got beaten a lip to Giga Kick last start, which is, we obviously seen what Giga Kick done its next start. It went out and won the Everest, but I know Dad's got a fairly high opinion on this horse. He's actually got one with the Matthew Smith yard at the moment, which is a horse that's actually racing on the weekend. We won't give its name out just yet, but I know Dad was talking to the stable hand last night on the phone, actually, in Paulie Row. I mean, we asked him, how's the horse going, how's it travelling, that sort of thing, and he said, to be honest, boys, he said, we can't really get it much better. He said, it's absolutely flying at the moment. He said, it'll be thereabouts. He said, it's drawn a bit sticky in 15, but it'll look the winner at some point. So I think that's one of Dad's better bets for the day. He's got Craigie Newitt. He's stuck on, which is always a good sign. Some jockeys do like to hang on, some don't like to hang on. Obviously, they don't like to hang on if the horse has not much chop, in their opinion. But Craigie Newitt's actually hung on for this horse. We actually backed this horse 3 or 4 weeks ago now, when it did get beat that lip by Giga Kick for this race. So I don't know if that's any knowledge for anyone, but it's going to do for us. So we actually got $9 at the moment. It's $8, $7.50 at the moment, around that mark. Should go really, really close. Like we said, the inside mail is that it's absolutely flying, which is good to hear. I know all trainers do say that about their horses, but these guys are pretty genuine, and they'll tell us if our horse is going no good or it is going good. So on top for Dad is Buenos Nachos. On top for me is number 1, Jacquino. Now, the famous Bush bookie. He gave us a tip last week. We didn't mention his last name. His name is Mitch. He is from the great Gundagai, the land of Gundagai. He is the secret mayor of Gundagai at the moment. The Bush bookie, he's given us another tip today. He's tipped in this race, actually, in race 6. He's gone number 7. He's gone Grand Impact. An unbeaten colt at the moment. It's only had the 3 starts for 3 wins. I don't know why you keep backing these things, Mitch, but at least you give us one with a bit of odds this time instead of backing a favourite, which is always a good start. So the Bush bookie has gone race 6, number 7, for anyone following a little Bush bookie. He goes good. He's not a very big punter, but he always seems to have a collect, which is good to see. Race 7 is the Derby, the big one for the day. We've both tipped Berkeley Square here. We tipped him a couple of starts ago. I think it was last week, actually. We tipped him as one of our better bets for the day. And he only won by a small margin. I think he only won by a length or so, but he done it fairly comfortable in my eyes. He got a bit of trouble, and he just seemed to really coast to the line. I mean, he's absolutely screaming for 2,500. He raced over 2,040 last start in the heavy ground, which is usually not his going. Like we said, it's a heavy 8 at the moment. Well, hopefully it dries out to a soft, where he's had 5 starts for 3 wins and a second. Like we said, it's probably one of the better bets for the day. We do think it's only a race or 2 in the top weight Sharp and Smart, and the 2 Berkeley Square. I know listening to the interview after Sharp and Smart won last week, and the trainer basically declared it. He said this thing will win the Derby. I don't mean to mock the lad, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just think Berkeley Square is just too good for him. Craig Williams again on board. I know we've been talking a lot about Craig Williams and Damon Oliver and all them guys, but you just got to back the good jockeys when they're there. Craig Williams on board for Berkeley Square, 320 at the moment. I don't think you're going to get much better than that. I think it's 320 and 350 for Sharp and Smart. I mean, they're a good price, but you're only getting about $1.40, $1.50 the place, which is, if you're going to have a place bet, it's probably not on them. So we've both gone on top here. We've gone Berkeley Square, which is one of our better bets for the day, as we said. Race 8 is the Emperor Rose Stakes over 1,600 metres, the second last for the day. Like that, I was talking to Dad this afternoon, and he said he cannot believe the price of this horse in Ice Bath. He's been tipping it the last few weeks, the last few runs, sorry. Hasn't really, I don't think it's quite the horse it was last prep, but he hasn't tipped it on top, which I was very, very surprised by. He usually always does. He's actually gone the favourite here in number 14, The Creek. Well, it won very, very impressively last start. James McDonald on board. It did win. It won by nearly 4 lengths in a Group 1 at in New Zealand at Matamar at the last start, over 1,600. The former Kiwi, now the adopted Australian, James McDonald, he gets on board. Over 1,600 again. It's going to be hard. A lot of horses from New Zealand do like the wet track. I think the wetter the better for this horse, but like we said, it's only fairly lightly raced. It's only had the 10 starts. It hasn't missed a placing yet, so you've got to take merit on that. And being Group 1 winner over in New Zealand, you can't knock it. So Dad's gone the fave there. He's currently $2.20 at the moment. Like I said, James McDonald on board. Should be hard to beat. I've actually gone something with a bit of value. I've got number 16, She's Lickety Split. She had the right run of the race, 2 starts back at Flemington, winning over the trip in open company. Does get a huge weight drop for me. I know me and Dad are very, we like looking at weights. We're not a big time guys. We like looking at weights, benchmarks, that sort of thing. It carried 56 kilos last start. Run third, only got beat 1.8 lengths behind Madame Pomery. The start before that, it did win at Flemington over this trip. It goes from 56 to 49 kilos. And I'm a bit the same here with the track. We need it for She's Lickety Split. We need it wetter the better for her. Dean Holland's going to ride at 49 kilos, which is a big ask for the jockeys. Like I said, massive weight swing. Yeah, I just can't seem to go past it at the moment. But Dad's top tip is number 14, The Creek. Mine is number 16 in She's Lickety Split. Race 9, the famous Get Out Stakes for this week. Yeah, you're going to be going good, I think, if you're in front this week. It's a very, very hard day of racing. Probably one of the better days of racing for the Melbourne Cup Carnival, in my opinion. Dad's actually gone number 14 here in Rose Quartz at a decent price here. It's $21 at the moment. Mickey D, 55 kilos. It is coming out of a 955 metre race in the soft, but only got beat 1.6 behind Wolflands, and actually my best bet last week's in Sartorial Splendor that actually got scratched. So if our form line lines up here, I think Rose Quartz should go close. Genuine each way bet here, $21 and $5.50 the place. Yeah, it's not a bad tip from Dave. He's getting there. He's slowly picking a couple of winners, which is good to see. I've actually gone something else that I thought was actually well over the odds myself. I've gone a horse in number 17, Shalster. It's been absolutely hammered here as we're talking. It's been $23 to 11s. Lightly raced mare who's had 6 starts but hasn't finished outside the top 2. Measured up with a couple of the handy ones last start, just getting out bobbed in a very, very tight finish behind a very fine red who's actually in the same race. It does get a kilo or so better at the weights, which is good. I mean, it's a fairly big price in the open company race at $11 at the moment. Like I said, it's been hammered from 23s to 11s. Genuine each way bet for me, and I think it's going to go really, really close for the day, which hopefully we can get it right. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our best bets and roughies for the day. Fairly quick show here, only being a one-man band, but we'll start with the best bets. No surprise here with David. David's tipped his best bet being Bueno Nachos. Like we said, I think I've raved on about him enough. Dad thinks he's a really, really good chance. I can't split my two best bets. It's very, very hard for me. Usually I'm all over it with one bet, but I just can't split them. My two best bets for the day is race 6, number 1, Jack and O. I just think it's a class above him at the moment. And race 7, number 2, Berkeley Square. I just think it's a 2-horse race in that. If you take 1 and 2, you'll probably get the Quinella in the Derby, but I think Berkeley Square is just too strong for them. Our roughies for the day. Yeah, no surprise here. Dad's roughie is actually Rose Quartz in the last, number 14 at $21. And we're actually taking each other on here in the same race for our roughie. I've actually gone, well, it's not really rough anymore, but it was. I've actually gone number 17 in race 9, Sholster. $11 at the moment. If the money keeps tumbling, I won't be having a bet, but hopefully the money flows out a bit. We can get a decent price for the roughie for the day. Multi of the day. I've only got one multi of the day. Dad doesn't like doing them, but I just thought it was a bit of funny. I've just gone race 1, number 1, Tijuana. We've both tipped it on top. About 420, I think, at the moment. Into race 6, number 1, Jack and O. Into race 7, number 2, Berkeley Square. I think it's about 76 to 1, that multi, so a sneaky 5 gets you about $390. So that'll be good. That'll put you halfway to a cruise anyway, as we spoke a couple of weeks ago. Don't forget, guys, we do have a lot of merchandise coming in. We've just ordered a big placement of hats. They're $25 a hat. If anyone would like one, just send us a message on our Facebook page. We're more than happy to get one organised for you. We might even try and run a quick promo, maybe after Melbourne Cup Day, concluding the Melbourne Cup. We might try and run a promo. We'll try and get some details into that. You know, the best bet, the best roughie of the day wins a free hat or something like that. So make sure you comment on the post, your best bet for the day or over the carnival, and we'll see what we can find out there. Our sponsors, we unfortunately haven't got our banner yet. The Matthew Smith Yard's been very, very busy, as you all know. They've got 3 horses down at Melbourne tomorrow. They've basically got horses everywhere at the moment. We are working on the banner. I know we have been approved for the banner to sit up behind us here on the wall, which is good. We're trying to organise a couple more sponsors, but it's a bit hard with both of us out there, busy life that we live at the moment. If anyone does have any tips, like I mentioned, comment on the video on Facebook, and we'll try and run a quick little promo or something after Melbourne Cup. Like we said, probably the best roughie of the day. Whoever picks the best roughie of the day gets a free hat. We might even throw in a shirt or something like that as well. So we'll see how we go. Don't forget, guys, we are going to run a Melbourne Cup show on the Monday. Just bear with us. It does take a fair bit of time to get all this edited and stuff. We will have it up probably Monday night. If not, at the latest, it'll be Tuesday morning. So make sure you look and follow that. We are going to probably do 4 or 5 races for the Melbourne Cup. It is in my opinion, it's probably one of the not the worst race of the day, but there is a lot of mishaps and a lot of dart throwing during the early races of the day until you get to the big ones. So it's going to be pretty tough, but we'll do our best to try and find you a couple of winners and fill up your pockets before the Melbourne Cup. And we'll see how we go from there. So don't forget the Melbourne Cup show on Monday. And that's about it for us, or for me this week. Unfortunately, David's not here, but we'll both be back next week. Thanks for listening again, guys. And if anyone does like our tips, make sure to like, subscribe to our Facebook page, YouTube channel. Just try and get the word out there a bit. And best of luck, punters, and we'll see you all again next week.